It's not politicians that can solve problems. They have no technical capabilities. They don't know how to solve problems. Even if they were sincere, they don't know how to solve problems. It's the technicians that produce the desalination plants. It's the technicians that give you electricity, that give you motor vehicles, that heat your house and cool it in the summertime. It's technology that solves problems, not politics. Politics cannot solve problems because they're not trained to do so.
Openness. It's a word that denotes opportunity and possibility. And everywhere, the world is opening up, and it's a good thing. Why is this happening? The technology revolution is opening the world.
Millions of computers were connected and evolved into one perfect machine, designed for a single purpose: sharing information. The internet allowed me to connect from my island to the world, to communicate ideas with millions of others, and a media-literate generation emerged, able to download the world's culture and transform it into something different.
Is collaboration. Now, this is openness in the sense of the boundaries of organizations becoming more porous and fluid and open. Openness is about transparency. Sharing. Now, this is different than transparency. Transparency is about the communication of information. Sharing is about giving up assets, intellectual property. And there are all kinds of famous stories about this. IBM gave away $400 million of software to the Linux movement, and that gave them a multi-billion-dollar payoff. Now, conventional wisdom says, well, hey, our intellectual property belongs to us, and if someone tries to infringe it, we're going to get out our lawyers and we're going to sue them. Well, it didn't work so well for the record labels, did it? I mean,
is social evolution. Copy, transform, and combine. It's who we are, it's how we live, and of course, it's how we create. Our new ideas evolve from the old ones. But our system of law doesn't acknowledge the derivative nature of creativity. Instead, ideas are regarded as property, as unique and original lots with distinct boundaries. But ideas aren't so tidy. They're layered, they're interwoven, they're tangled. And when the system conflicts with the reality, the system starts to fail.
I'll give you an example. The pharmaceutical industry is in deep trouble. First of all, there aren't a lot of big inventions in the pipeline. This is a big problem for human health. He needs to place assets in a commons. They need to start sharing pre-competitive research. They need to start sharing clinical trial data. And in doing so, create a rising tide that could lift all boats, not just for the industry, but for humanity. This is not an information age. It's an age of networked intelligence. It's an age of vast promise. An age of collaboration where the boundaries of our organizations are changing. Of transparency where sunlight is disinfecting civilization. An age of sharing and understanding the new power of the commons. And it's an age of empowerment and of freedom. Empowerment. And I'm not talking about the motherhood sense here. Knowledge and intelligence is power. And as it becomes more distributed, there's a concomitant distribution and decentralization and disaggregation of power that's underway in the world today.
If you take just the 350 million, and if each one of them could devote 1 hour a day to working on the world's problems, to tapping that amazing divine inspiration that they have access to, that brilliant genius that every Wayseer has through their consciousness. 350 million hours a day of innovation we have the ability to employ. Do you know how much time it took to build the Empire State Building? 7 million man-hours. We've got 350 million available to us every day. That means right now, if we wake up all the Wayseers over the next couple months, right now, and we all start devoting an hour out of our hearts and souls to contribute to humanity, and we start coordinating with each other and devoting just an hour a day, we have the capability to deliver the equivalent of 50 Empire State Buildings every day to humanity. 50 Empire State Buildings worth of innovation and change and progress every day. And we need it.
Bees come in swarms and fish come in schools. Starlings in the area around Edinburgh, in the moors of England, come in something called a murmuration. And the murmuration refers to the murmuring of the wings of the birds. And throughout the day, the starlings are out over a 20-mile radius, sort of doing their starling thing. And at night, they come together and they create one of the most spectacular things in all of nature. And it's called a murmuration. And scientists that have studied this have said they'd never seen an accident. Now, this thing has a function. It protects the birds. You can see on the right here, there's a predator being chased away by the collective power of the birds. And apparently, this is a frightening thing if you're a predator of starlings. And there's leadership, but there's no one leader. Now, is this some kind of fanciful analogy, or could we actually learn something from this? Well, the murmuration functions to accord a number of principles, and they're basically the principles that I've described to you today. This is a huge collaboration. It's an openness. There's a sharing of all kinds of information, not just about location and trajectory and danger and so on, but about food sources. And there's a real sense of interdependence. That the individual birds somehow understand that their interests are in the interests of the collective. Perhaps like we should understand that the business can't succeed in a world that's failing. Well, I look at this thing and I get a lot of hope. Could we create some kind of collective intelligence that goes beyond an individual or a group or a team to create perhaps some kind of consciousness on a global basis? Well, if we could do this, we could attack some big problems in the world. And I look at this thing and I don't know, I get a lot of hope that maybe this smaller, networked, open world that our kids inherit might be a better one. Let's do this. Thank you.